What's up, gamers? Alright, so today we're going to add multiple flowers to the game. So remember, right now we just had one flower falling from the screen and another human, and we want to be able to add multiple flowers to make our game a little more fun, a little more stuff to do. So in order to do that, we're going to use something called groups in GameLab. So on the toolbox, you can hit the groups tab, and it'll let you create a group. So we're going to create a flower group. And this will be where we add all of our flowers, and then we are going to want to do flower group dot add flower. So that's going to add our first flower, and then we're going to have multiple flowers. So how many flowers do we want? How are we going to do that? We are going to do a loop. So we're going to start with for loop here at the top to initiate all of our flowers. So before, we just made one flower using create sprite, and I'm going to put it in here, and something like this, except I want the x coordinate to be randomly between 0 and 400. Okay, so var flower equals create sprite and add flower. So this is going to make, so this loop is going to loop from 0 to 4 times. So this is your index variable, this is the start value of the index, and this is the increment, and then this is when the for loop ends. So I starts at 0, it makes a flower, and then I goes to 1, makes another flower, and then the flower group will have all of these flowers inside it. So let's start with maybe 10 flowers. Let's see how that looks. And you can see there's 10 flowers at the top. We might later want to add some code that spaces them out, but as they fall, it should be pretty good. So now the thing is, we need this same loop. I'm going to store the number of flowers into a variable, so num flowers equals 10, because I'm going to want to use that later on. So I'm going to replace the 10 with the variable storing the value 10, and that should be good. So now anywhere where we use flower, we're going to want to change it for this whole loop, so we can add that logic to the entire loop. So let's see. Oh, save the turtles. Cool. Let's see. Where do we add flower stuff? So reset flower. That's fine. Interesting. Which flower, though? Ooh, this is going to be a challenging problem. So we want to add a loop inside of flower management. So for less than num flowers, we want to do group.getI. So we're going to make a local variable called flower equals group.getI. And then now we have all of our logic is going to have to be for that. Except the issue is in reset flower, we don't know which flower to reset. Our reset flower code found this initial flower, but it's no longer that. So how are we going to fix this? We're going to need to pass this index value into the method. So I'm going to add an argument to reset flower that passes in the value I. So if it is touching this specific flower, we'll know the index value in the group. So basically, you can think of every flower inside of the group having an index value. It starts I at 0, and then it increments up to num flowers. So 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9. So each flower has a unique ID. You can think of I, the index, as an ID value that allows us to access that specific flower. So now in reset flower, like I said, we're going to add the I. And then to get the specific flower that we want again, we're going to have to do the same thing. Var flower equals get group.getI. And now which group? The flower group. I think I forgot to rename that earlier. We're going to have to use this. Flower group. B is touch flower group group.getI. Okay, let's test this out. All right, look at that. We have a ton of flowers in our game now using groups. In the beginning, they all kind of fall together, but once I start collecting them, it looks kind of weird when we start. Like, look at that. They're all on the same plane, but once we start collecting them, they move up. So maybe I'll just randomize the Y value a little bit. So the X value right now is randomized, but I want this Y value to be randomized also. And I'm going to, let's just, instead of just starting them all at 0, I'll go from -20 to 20. So they're a little randomized around the screen. And then as we get them, they get more distributed. Sweet. Multiple flowers are in our game. That was a quick introduction to groups. Groups are really useful for when you want to do multiple things, and you can use this index pattern to really help understand it. For loops, index values, and groups was really the main point of this, adding this for loop. And I went really fast on that, so if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments section, and I can try to answer them as best I can. I guess that's it for today's episode. It's kind of been a crazy day. I didn't get a chance to record in the morning, so that's I think all I'm going to do for today. So have a great day, Pythons, and I'll see you tomorrow.